The Gauteng government launched its flagship crime prevention initiative just this week. 4,000 crime prevention wardens will now be added in the issue of crime prevention projects in South Africa, in Gauteng in particular. Let's probe the impact of this initiative on the broader crime prevention efforts taking place in the province. We're joined this morning by Nehson Pillay, who is in fact with the Gauteng Police Board. He joins us via our video link this morning. Nehson, it's great to see you. Thanks very much indeed for coming on so early. 4,000 crime prevention wardens. It sounds great in theory. Tell us what, ideally they're going to contribute in our fight against crime.
Good morning, and good morning to your viewers. Firstly, from a community police board, we're the Gauteng structure for the CPF, and we're a non-profit volunteer organization under the SAPS Act. We're quite encouraged by the efforts by the Premier's office and the Gauteng government to contribute to our broader crime prevention activities. And I think the benefit here with the wardens is that they would focus on areas that are traditionally neglected. As you know, there is a massive resourcing issue with the police as well as manpower. So augmenting the crime prevention capacity at a ward level, where traditionally you don't have the likes of your private security and patrollers, etc. We expect them to fill those type of gaps for the community.
So talk us through the training that they would then have to undergo to fill what is quite a massive gap, Nehson. And we'll get to the issue of, filling the gap insofar as the police are concerned, because there's been some criticism that what we should be doing is bulking up police instead. But tell us about the training. Let's start there.
So the training itself, I'm not a representative of the MEC's office per se. Our role is enablement and oversight of police activities under the SAPS Act. So typically, when it comes to the crime prevention wardens, similar to the police, we will play an oversight role from the community perspective. In terms of the training has been shared by the Premier's office in terms of what kind of training they've been on over the last couple of months. But I think what is going to be key is to see how effective the wardens can be in an integrated law enforcement environment, working with the municipality bylaw teams, for example, JMPD, TMPD, and also working with the South African police to ultimately prevent crime, effect arrests, etc. Yeah.
So what we were told by the Premier in his launching this initiative in the province was that it would complement, existing structures of law enforcement. So they don't have guns. They do have vehicles. How would they, do you reckon, respond to a serious crime that's taking place as a warden?
So I suppose in a scenario where you're dealing with serious and violent crimes, for example, a catch in transit, you would not expect a crime prevention warden to intercept such an activity. There are specialized units within the South African police force to deal with those type of scenarios. But really, it's to be the eyes and ears and affect certain, so that the powers are limited, so to affect certain types of arrests. But as you know, the police are the agency that's responsible for arrest, detention, and investigation. So the crime prevention wardens would have, I would say, a limited mandate in the broader crime prevention spectrum.
Is it very similar? It certainly sounds very similar to the street committees of old, where members of a community essentially banded together to try and get a handle on crime. But this is just sort of in a more official sense.
Well, they're not vigilantes, and they're not the community police forum. They are salaried employees of the state that are being brought on with a specific purpose to fight certain categories of crime within certain areas. So you'll see, for example, they may not necessarily get deployed to an area where there's high police visibility and high private security. The goal is for them to fill the gaps at a ward level and assist government, issues around especially things like unrest, be the eyes and ears on the ground, work with the community, work with the police forum, work with private security, etc. But as I said earlier, I think what's going to be key is how integrated this team would be and how effective would they be in terms of the categories of crimes that they will focus.
Yeah, that issue of working with the community is going to be an important one, right? And it's something that's going to take time. Sort of having wardens deployed in a particular ward, they'll need time to get a sense of the community, to get a sense of the CPF, how the community works and so on. And that's the only way we're going to be able to gauge the success of this program, is by giving it some time.
Yes, I believe so. And from the CPF and the community perspective, there's a lot of support because any initiative, any innovation around crime prevention, we support. But I think it will take time. Some of these crime prevention wardens came from the CPF. CPF members applied and joined. So you'll find that there are already some community links. But I suppose over time, it's for this unit to build trust with the community and the CPF and work in a cohesive fashion.
Nehson, do you reckon this is sort of the future of security in our country? I mean, this is being rolled out in Gauteng now, but sort of the decentralizing of certain things that are the responsibility of the police. Is this going to be the future of how we try to tackle crime?
I believe it could be a litmus test in terms of how effective government-based policing is. Currently, the government have a traffic unit, Gauteng Traffic, with a very specific focus on certain corridors regarding the Road Traffic Management Act. I think this is the first time we've seen the government take a stance, at least at a provincial level, on crime prevention outside of the South African Police Service. But will other provinces follow suit? I think it'll depend on how effective this unit is. What we really, there's a number of elements with policing, and I think what the crime prevention wardens would do is create visibility on the streets, which will strengthen the broader policing of the South African police as well.
So they've, as I understand it, received some training, but the issue of gun training is still outstanding. Do you reckon they need to be armed to do this job?
I don't really want to comment on that. I think it depends on the categories of crime that they are countering. If we're dealing with, kind of bylaw issues, basic crime at a street level, I don't believe they need to have firearms. But if they are dealing with serious crimes like hijackings, house robberies, and, for example, CITs, then I would believe that they should be empowered with the weapons to counter those type of forces.
Yeah, the important thing is that they are working hand in hand, not only with communities, but with police themselves. Nehson, let me thank you for your time this morning. Nehson Pillay is with the Gauteng Police Board. He is the spokesperson as we continue to track the story around 4,000 crime prevention wardens being dispatched in Gauteng. Time will tell just how successful that initiative is.